Welcome, everyone, to today's Advisor Ambassador Program. My name is Emily Cabbage, and I'm the Director of Marketing at NAFA. It's my honor today to bring you Jose Rodriguez Jr. Jose is a member of NAFA California and NAFA Los Angeles. He has a very strong passion for NAFA and very excited to hear what he has to say, telling you his story about his why of why he does what he does for Main Street USA. And also, Jose, this is his actually second career. So didn't get started out immediately into the industry, but Jose's got a great story, and I'm going to turn it over to him for his presentation. Jose?
Great. Thank you very much. And good afternoon, I'm assuming, right, for everyone. My name is Jose Rodriguez. I am a resident of Los Angeles, California. Currently, I reside in Rowland Heights, and but I come from a background of Hispanic family. So my father was Mexican, my mother is Mexican. They're both met each other in Jalisco, and my father at that time, he was born in 1932. So as you hear, it was right before World War II, and he had a rough beginning and started to migrate over up north to us, to United States, and looking for a better tomorrow. And honestly, they were just really working for money, because back at home, he was living under very poor circumstances. So he wanted to do a better life for himself. So he went to America. So between 1940 to 1960, he traveled up and down California, Fresno, all the state of California into Montana, and he traveled through trains. They call those people arrieleros because they travel for days sometimes in the train, and sometimes they wouldn't eat, and because sometimes these trains would never stop. So back in those days, my father would speak about those times, and I like to speak about those times because those are sacrifices some of these people that are our parents and great parents of ours in certain generations made sacrifices of those natures for a person like me, a generation later, to benefit from what I have an opportunity today to share with you, which is my success in my life. And I'm appreciated for the sacrifices those people did, and I think it's important that I bring those up. But in 1970s, my father married my mom and promised her the wedding of her life. So he came back to the United States and worked hard and went back and married her, and then migrated later legally to United States, where I was born in 1972. So born, raised somewhere in 1972. Can you guys hear me? Is it still going? Right?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good, because I had a message here, that's fine. So being born here and raised here until age of 5, then once I was, my parents took me to Mexico after age of 5, and didn't come back to the United States until I was 17. So at 17, I didn't like it, because as a cultured Mexican and American birth and experienced it, I was a little confused at this point, because I didn't speak English coming back to my country. And when I went into Mexico, I didn't speak any Spanish. Any English. Yeah, actually, I didn't speak any Spanish. So they gave me a hard time, the Mexicans, because I didn't speak any Spanish in a Spanish school in Mexico. So I kind of had like issues in between those 2 years, those eras in my life. But I overcame them. Because when I was here in the United States, I didn't know why I was here for. I just knew that I was here to work, but I didn't know why I was here. And it's important that I speak about that why, because later on I'm going to be speaking furthermore about that why, because that was my real motivation to further go on my journey, and like she told you earlier, my second career. my first career when I got here was the U.S. Census. That was my first job actually in 1990. Then went to McDonald's. In McDonald's, I worked there for a few years. Then moved to the automotive industry because I learned that I like to work on. Well, I came from knowing how to work on cars because in Mexico, my dad put me to go work for a mechanic, just disassembling engines. And I mean, I was 12, 13 years old. My dad didn't want me at home, so he wanted to send me somewhere to learn something. So I guess that was his way of loving me. And so I learned to love working on cars and decided to give that a shot. And went very well for me. As a matter of fact, I made it all the way to manager of a service dealership called Beverly Hills BMW. I worked there for 13 years, working with the rich and famous and the wealthy and the people that were striving to become an artist or an actor out here in Hollywood, because that's exactly where this dealership was located. Although it was in Beverly Hills, but it was in the middle of all the production of where the anyways, the bottom line is that I was doing very well there, getting paid very well. But my dad passed away in 2009, and he didn't leave any wealth, anything behind to me and or his family, other than just what he was able to provide to us, which I am very grateful for, by the way. Not that I am not grateful to him, but I know it was real that around me in Beverly Hills, there's a lot of money. And in my life, there's no money. Like, why? Is there such a difference when I know that you're Jewish, you're Americans, you're like, everybody's so different, but yet everybody's the same. Just the only thing that makes us different is the money, but that doesn't matter. At least that was my upbringing as a kid in Mexico, that no matter how much money you got, it doesn't change you. So I went on with this and for a few more months, and until I decided to, you know what, I'm going to get into something that I didn't like, which it was what I've been ignoring all my life, finances in America. So I was attracted to the world of finances in America because of certain multi-level companies. I don't want to mention names, but some of these companies introduced me to the world of insurance, and but yeah, it was mostly just insurance. It wasn't, and they promised to financial plan train me into the future, and I needed to start somewhere, and that somewhere was from the people that I did research from, which was the people that I was servicing in Beverly Hills. Some of them were in real estate, and some were in finances. And I knew that I didn't want to be a real estate agent. I know that because I'm not a sales guy. So, and in real estate, you got to be a sales guy. And since I'm not a salesperson, so I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and join this team and see what happens from here. So that was that journey. Then I worked for Aflac, and I worked for several combined insurances. I mean, there's a lot of, I love their trainings. I mean, their trainings were awesome. Some of the best practices I learned them from these companies, but they still have strategies around that I didn't agree with because it didn't fit my core values, is the bottom line. But I didn't know that at the time. So I continued on until I met a gentleman named Alvin Parra, which he's one of my mentors here in NAIFA. And I followed his lead and introduced me to NAIFA. So several years after that, give me a second here. Sorry about that. Several years after that, I became more involved with NAIFA. And this was in around 2014 when I joined NAIFA. And I also started my why, because I didn't know my why yet until I got into learning who NAIFA was in 2014. And 2014 is when the Affordable Care Act came in effect. So I knew back in 2012 when my father passed away, I needed to do something and focus something with my insurance license, because I'm just bumping around different companies and not really focusing on producing. So I ended up listening and continued to get training with NAFA. And I started to discover the first thing, which it was their code of ethics. So when their code of ethics aligned with my core values, I understood that I am married now to my profession. So because it kind of, I'm not married, by the way, I'm single. So, but I've never been married before, but I understand the value of marriage because my parents taught me how important those were. And when you give your word in the front of a church that you're going to be married, figured this is the same situation with my career. I got to be married to my career, so we need to have some real talk around here. And when I learned the code of ethics, I think it just made sense. It made sense along with what I needed to do. So when that happened is when I started to wonder about my why more and more. Why? Because as soon as that happened in 2016, 2 years after that, I got the email. From where? From the White House. It says, "Dear Jose, thank you for submitting your RSVP. We have received your information. Please reach out to your point of contact with any questions. Sincerely, the White House." I had to take a picture of that because I needed to remember this one way or the other, because I know I was going to remember and I'm not going to search it because it's going to happen many years later. But listen, I'm a first generation American Mexican. I grew up with Mexican core values and have very strong grassroots in Mexico. But in NAFA, I learned to love America. I learned to love the opportunity. And because of that love, and that is where it became these new successes that happened to me. So, by the way, NAFA had nothing to do with this. So, but eventually, me adhering to the code of ethics eventually created that energy and synergy that everything around that became synergetic to my actions. I went to the White House. I got it because of my advocacy, which later on you can hear in a few other slides, all of the active work I did with in the community with Cover California. Well, small business majority recognized my efforts in advocacy with Cover California. By the way, all of that advocacy, I didn't get paid for. Nobody offered me money. I just needed exposure because I knew that I needed to maximize my exposure because there's a lot of people that are uninsured. And that's all the people that are ignorant about finances. And I knew that because I was one of them. And that is the Hispanic community. So I knew that I was in a market. There was a lot of people to be enrolled. So the first 2 years were crucial to me for me to get a lot of people, help a lot of people. So regardless, I kept going and I still kept searching for my why. Like, why? Why am I doing this? But I didn't know why I was doing still. I didn't know my why. I still kept going because I didn't know what was going to happen with this until today. Well, today I'll tell you more now, but you're going to see what I did. So I earned my invitation to the Small Business Summit. And for the first time ever, I got an invitation to go to the White House. I have an appointment. Like, how many people can have an appointment to be inside of the White House? Like, I had no idea. I met, here is what you're going to see. It was 350 people, business people throughout the whole United States who were in this room from different backgrounds, different but diversities. And I was the only Hispanic. Well, it was 4 of us, as you can see. There's 3 of us there, but there's 4. Well, so let me tell you who this person is first. The one to the left, his name is Ruben. He's the one that I met there for the first time and introduced me to the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. And right there, he recruited me to become a member of their board of directors. I told the guy, listen, I'm just a guy trying to figure this out. I don't want to be involved in politics, man, because you know what? This is not my thing. I just here because I got an invitation. He goes, trust me, we need people like you. When he said that to me, I said, you know what? I'm going to pay attention to him. I'm just going to go. Let's see what happens. So I went on and signed up for this. And then I met this lady next to her is Julie Rodriguez. She was at the time the president's public relations direct contact to the Spanish community. And she was the representative of Barack Obama, and her name is Julie Rodriguez from Malibu. Like, what? In Washington, I'm meeting somebody from Malibu. Like, that was crazy. So I met her, Xiomara there. There's a bunch of people that are in that room. I sat at the table where the president makes decisions to announce to the people inside of the White House. Like, to me, that was mind blowing already as it is. And as I speak about it still to today, I still can't believe I did that. I met some new friends, had a great time up there in Washington, and was really motivational to me. So I decided to continue and go with my company and have a logo, have an office. And within the next 6 to 9 months, I had a grand opening of my first storefront office of health insurance and Medicare Enrollment Center in East Los Angeles. We have a lot of acknowledgement on top of here from the Senate, from legislation, from the city of Los Angeles, the East LA Chamber of Commerce, Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. And I remember with this one right here what it was, but I got a lot of attention and it really took off for me. These certifications behind here, this is the certifications that each insurance agent that is health insurance licensed and does cover California and Medicare, we need to license and train every year to recertify it in all of them. So if you're looking to expand and learn more about health insurance, listen, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. I went on and I got invited to a Martin Luther King parade with Cover California's participation. And this is one of the videos. Hopefully I'm able to tell me if you're able to hear this, okay?
Hi folks, I am Francisco X. Rivera.
Can you hear
here
it?
with Peter Lee,
Were you able to hear it?
Yep, got it.
Okay.
Executive Director from Cover California. Peter, there is a big change this year around the penalty one can face for not having insurance. Tell us more.
Yeah. So California put back the penalty, which means it's the law to have health insurance in California. If you don't, you could face a big penalty at tax time.
Okay, so just how bad is that penalty and how do we avoid it?
Look, family of four, $2,000 minimum. But the bigger penalty is medical bills of hundreds of thousands if you're not insured.
Call the number on your screen. Free help is available and Cover California is ready to answer your calls.
So as you can see, I'm actually right there behind that guy. Peter Lee is the one on the right hand side. On my right hand side if you're facing the screen. But that's actually my arm, but they didn't film me because he was, but I thought it was funny that I will mention it, but it also mentioned the message that they're saying. So this phone bank was in 2019, 2020 years, and they were implementing the penalties back again. So yet, remember, I'm still asking, why am I doing this? Why is this? I thought I knew what my why was, because at this point in 2018, 19, and I have a storefront, I'm already earning income. I'm already getting the hang of this and on my own way. So I started to venture into learning more about how to be involved with other parts of my license, like the Medicare side. So in 2016, 17, I started to learn more about Medicare and getting involved with Cover California. So I started to go to California press events in downtown LA. I got exposed in that same event. I met the daughter of Muhammad Ali, another middleweight fighter here. This is Peter Lee. He's the CEO of Cover California. Beautiful event in downtown LA. They had all these people that you see in the background. All of these guys are just people like me, people that are advocates, people that are doing this. They're not doing this for free, but because we're earning income. But the amount of income we're earning at this point is very little, because first of all, the Affordable Care Act wasn't even supposed to include agents, first of all, on to having commissions on it. But NAIFA fought for this stuff. NAHU fought for this stuff, and we eventually able to include us because they learned that without the agent, they wouldn't be able to succeed the way they succeeded with health insurance enrollments up until now. 70% of enrollments happen because of people like us, like those people. Those people are the ones that dealt with the culture. Those are the people that dealt with the no's and the rejections and all the bad stuff that comes along with bad information or filtered information, a way to manipulate your sales, like selling you life insurance, like those manipulative ways that didn't like it, that was borderline unethical and immoral and things. Those people had to deal with that stuff. We had to deal with that stuff because we heard it out, and we were not getting paid for them. We still don't, by the way, but it's okay. We don't want to talk about that. Because of my participation there, I learned also to be exposed in TV, as you saw. I got invited to phone banks in TV Estrella. I met some new business owners here and new relationships that I built with these business owners themselves. These are also agents that are in the business. Each one of them has their own insurance company, but they learned to be in this business in a very different way than I did. And possibly all of you have learned about the system. So because every single one of us has a different way, a different story to learning how to get involved with this. Got invited to TV Azteca phone bank in South Pasadena. I'm handling insurance calls about Cover California. And you needed to be a qualified and trusted advisor to be a part of these phone banks. I went all the way to Palm Springs, Univision, to help them out with enrollments with other business owners there as well. And the phone banks were increasing more and more before COVID went on. So Cover California did a great job in selling to consumers and reaching out to them. So, and they used agents like us who they didn't want to use, first of all. And now they're using us because they cannot do nothing without us. So we know we have a lot of power in when I learned this, I said, you know what? I need to get more involved with NAIFA, because if I'm going to grow my business, if I'm going to grow myself, I don't want to grow no longer. I want to expand. So NAIFA feels is giving me the ability to stop growing and start expanding. So I started having my mindset a little different. So I started to reach out to the city I love. So I decided to relate and start connecting with people that were mine-like, and found a person in my circle of friends that work for the city of Los Angeles, and it's part of the rapid response team. So
financial planning, right?
I'm sorry? Oh, somebody was talking. Right. So I started to work with the to be a trusted advisor for the Southern California Rapid Response Regional Roundtable meetings. So who are we? So we're part of the economic workforce development department. So these people are, first of all, that's her. Marisela, she's a good friend of mine, and she's the one that opened the door for me to enter this world, because I didn't know this. So what they do is that we help dislocated employees. So in this meeting right here, let me go back over here to this one right here. Not that one, this one. So in this round table, you have 6 entities in here, and these entities help dislocated employees with anything that has to do with unemployment issues, like, because they're dislocated employees are those people that are losing their jobs for no fault of their own. Meaning that sometimes some businesses lose business and they end up going on bankruptcy. And if they have a major amount of employees, they just don't do nothing for them. And the city knows who these companies are that have these employees. So they send EDD, America's Job Center, WorkSource. So America's Job Center is who trains them to do another job, or retrain them for them to enhance whatever skills they already have to improve and have a better job later, because they're losing their job for no fault of their own. So the America's Job Center is giving them free training. The WorkSource department is giving them the money. WorkSource is giving them the money, finding the money to this, so that they're able to rebuild themselves and go back into the workforce. the city local jobs, I mean, the schools are the people that offer those schools and the trainings to those jobs that they probably aspire to have. Sometimes they offer them very good jobs positions like nurse assistants, some construction labor, some very good job positions that pay very well. Even city jobs they offer them. So these people that are dislocated need resources so they can rebuild themselves. And remember, they're just being told they're losing their job, and they just found out about this like a few days ago prior to meeting us. So when we sitting down in front of them, these people that you see in front of you, these are people that these meetings have to happen because we need to be in tune and finding out how we're going to help these people transition over. And each one of these teams are part of the WIOA, which I just talked to you about. And I didn't know about that. So that's why when I learned that it's so important, I needed to know and check in always with the right people. So there was displaced employees in downtown LA. They're high-end blue-collar employees that companies just decided to move to another country, decided to go away, as well as hard labor companies like American Apparel displaced about 1,500 employees. Some of these people, his name is Gary De La Rosa. He's a professor. He was a professor in his career at one point, and when he retired, he decided to work for the city to be in service to the community of this particular program because he felt the mission behind. Because these people you see here, these people have no idea about finances at all, whatsoever. As a matter of fact, they don't want to pay taxes. They want to avoid pay taxes. So they have a very different relationship than you and I have with the United States because all they know is how to work. So they're being displaced, and now the city of Los Angeles is here to rescue them. Forever 21, they moved their office from LA to out in the valley. 2,500 employees. Remember, guys, this is Cover California, why I got into this. And I didn't understand how big this impact, and there's a lot of agents we need a lot of agents, by the way. So I'm hoping this inspires you to help these communities because these people need people like us to teach them about finances. Sears here in LA, we had the Sears Towers. Well, it wasn't headquarters, but this was like for us iconic because I think this is where really Sears started from. So they let go of their employees. I knew that also important after being involved with all this city community, I needed to also support my local community. So one of the ways that I decided to do that is by joining the board of directors of the Organization for the Physically Impaired and the Blind. So this organization, I don't have a picture of the president here in the board of directors here yet, but I want to talk about them right now because they inspired me into my why and to further look into my why. Why was I? Because I thought I knew what my why was, but every time I got involved into something else, my why keep growing, and I didn't know why that why was growing, but my interest in learning more of my why. These people, the president is blind himself, and he created this company, and he inspired me because of my participation with the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. So, which further ahead, you're going to learn that. So when I learned this guy, I said, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing still, but eventually I can do something good with you. So let me join your board of directors. And I'm still in relationship with them, and they're still growing. I'm still happy to be around them. And that's a nonprofit that I am very happy to spend time and advise and continue to grow with them because I know they offer something good to a community we often neglect, which is the blind and the disabled. So my father's brother was a blind person, and I think that's why this calling for helping the blind was very much in tune with my family's background. Got involved with Garfield High School community itself, with the East LA Super Bulldog Jog. They have this every year. And I learned there that building relationships with people you want to do business with was the most important thing for continuing to feed into my why. Because I started to network with people that are in medical groups. Remember what I spoke to you about Julie Rodriguez? Julie Rodriguez, the right-hand person direct to the president, Barack Obama. Well, she was here at this event. That's her right there, and that's her friend. And me and her are not dating, by the way. But man, I think I'd like to date her. But I know her. Her name is Jenny, and she's cool. She's a very cool person. Don't never mind about the dating. Okay, I didn't say that. But she's cool, awesome. But I ran into her there, and she's a friends with Julie. What a small world. And then I mentioned to Julie where her and I met, and she goes, "You know what? I remember you." It grew my relationship because guess where she's at now? She's with Joe Biden, the same position. I'm like, wow, what a freaking small world to me. At this point, I'm like mind blown because I knew that now networking is started to make sense. Where networking in Washington and networking in California, now it's a whole different world because we are now connected and building relationships because these medical groups like Regal Medical Group and Ultimate have doctors. And I knew that. They're the ones that are able to control and display and distribute the benefits of an HMO. So they have the authority to have doctors. They're the ones that contract the doctors and the specialists to be a part of groups. And I didn't know that, but now you know that. And then when I learned that, then I needed to be networking more with the marketing directors like him, the other people, which it was at that time, Jenny. She was a marketing director for Ultimate, which it was the government relations, which makes sense why they know each other. The gentleman in the middle right here, he's a part of the board. I got involved with Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. So by the way, before I go to Pico Rivera, these medical groups that you just saw, this is just 2 medical groups that I'm giving you pictures of. I have about, in LA, there's about 14, 15 different medical groups that I know that exist. God knows the IPAs and all the smaller medical groups there is around it. But I knew that was pretty much my golden ticket to continue to grow my business. So God kept going and getting involved with the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. I got that there at the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. They invited me to be a part of Linda Sanchez Congressional State of the Nation report she did to her constituents. So I was part of that. I met Linda with the board of directors. This night was the award night for the end of the year for the people that were serving for many years. The gentleman in the center, I have him in the middle in honor of him. He just passed away of COVID last year. And I think this man was such a giving realtor in his community. And Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce and the business community is known to be the most welcoming business community of the whole county. So we're very proud to be announcing because of the energy there is in the Pico Rivera's leadership. And when I learned that, love conquered that, then they got me in charge of the poker night. I was in charge of the poker night, and I became the champion of poker night that night. By the way, I didn't prepare, but trust me, I had a great time with these people. Got networking. Remember, I'm still searching for my wife, but I knew that I was getting business from these people. A lot of these people that you see in this background are my clients today. Proud to service them. I became a sponsor of several golf tournaments along the community of mine. We went to ribbon cutting events for small businesses that were opening in the community. Remember, these aren't activities of the chamber. So when I said no to the chamber, I was really wanted to say yes, but I didn't know why I was joining the chamber because I had no idea. But that was my first experience into joining board of directors. We gave a lot to the community. We did a fundraiser for toys. Got together here with today Mr. Bob Archuleta, which was a mayor at that time of Pico Rivera, and was very active with his election process that he did. Then I don't know why I have this here now on the slide, but might as well talk about this. But this is something that I'm very, very proud of, that I'm a co-founder and founder of this foundation called Foundation Amor por Teco. It's a nonprofit. So one of our values is that we together we can help others, and our values is honesty, compassionate, fair, and respectful. Now, this foundation, I'm the vice president, my sister's the president, and the priest in the middle, he is the founder, and I'm the co-founder of this corporation. Why I'm the co-founder? Because I knew that these people meant good. And for many years, these people were doing kermeses. If you don't know what kermes is, it's just like quinceañera, like a party, but you sell food there after church. And these events sometimes include music, and it's a fundraiser eventually. And they fundraise very little money, and they put a lot of effort into what they do. So I knew nonprofits existed for a reason in America, and we needed to function as one. So I spoke to the priest about the situation, that we needed to open a nonprofit so we can maximize on the efforts, because they don't know how important this is. Remember, they're not financially understanding finances, this Hispanic community. So I understood that needed further education. With further education, the priest went on and opened it and named me the vice president, my sister the president of this nonprofit Amor por Teco. And today we're servicing so many people, and I'm very proud to have created that. But I want to really include my involvement with NAIFA. The first involvement with NAIFA was many of the other involved was celebrating their 130 years. Listen, let me pause here for a minute. 130 years of ethics. 130 years of ethics means a lot. Why? I don't know how many thousands of agents there is in California, but out of the hundreds of thousands of agents there is in California, there's only about 1,600 and change members to NAIFA. That means that the rest of them are working of a code of ethics they figured out on their own, or they're making as they fake it till they make it type of thing. I don't even want to belong to that. So when I went to this event, 130 years, it's like, you remember the love we were talking about that married NAIFA? Well, that was like a reevaluation of my vows with them, because we just became married, and we are already 130 years in relationship with these people. Like, how did that happen? It happened overnight. So I'm here celebrating with them. And who am I meeting? Kevin. I mean, he's a president. He was at that time. I think now is Michael. But I'm meeting all the big people in NAIFA, and I myself, Hispanic guy, a guy that this is my second career, and I'm meeting the president of our code of ethics. Like, that's crazy to me. I'm like blown away by the opportunity. I'm part of health forums where I meet the people that are in the business for many years. This gentleman here to the left side, last name is Gordon. He's one of the guys that created Cover California's blueprints. Can you believe I'm sitting down on the table with someone that is actually created the ACA, the Affordable Care, was participant of the creation of that, and understands that. Who else do I need to be related with more important than him? Because I help a lot of Cover California people. He needs information of mine to help him fix issues that things he's gonna have probably later on. The lady in the middle is an agent of mine, that colleague of mine, great friend of mine that loved the passion I have for NAIFA and became a member. The guys on the right side, Monty, we wouldn't be without him in NAIFA. Like, Monty is he's like the brains of our operation kind of way. Mr. Dickerson here, he runs a big agency of employee benefits here in Los Angeles. It's huge. Mr. Dickerson's been a member for many years and built an agency, beautiful agency. And he's no longer an owner of it, but I was one of his last meetings. He started to attend to us in person. Mr. Mott is right here to the left-hand side. He was just acknowledged not too long ago. His involvement, he wears a lot of hats in NAIFA. In this particular event, this hat, it wasn't NAIFA's hat, but he was wearing the American Legion's hat. He's being acknowledged by that. And Mr. Bob Archuleta, which is today now a senator, which I happen to know him. Remember, I've been meeting this guy. He's today a senator. Like, he got voted. He's going to be reelected too soon. So as you hear, I'm involved now in politics. What I didn't want to, now I'm involved. Alex Villanueva here is this was a car show, by the way, to fundraise for the police department. Involved with NAFA, we were involved of the Life Insurance Awareness Month, lane proclamations. That means that this county of Los Angeles, for the first time ever, and I was involved because of this, I had a little bit to do with, I didn't, not responsible, but I have a little bit to do with this, of what? Now, the county of Los Angeles names September Life Insurance Awareness Month. That means that from now on, in LA County, on September, everywhere is going to be known that we need to be aware that we exist in life insurance, and everybody needs to be insured with life insurance. You know how big this is? This is huge. Why? Especially in the Hispanic community. Why? We don't believe in life insurance. We believe in car washes. We believe in doing kermeses, like fundraising events. We need to be borrowing money from people. We don't believe in life insurance. So having this to be something that I was part of means so much to me. And yet I don't know why I'm doing this. But yet I'm involved with things that are aligned with my core values. I'm part of celebrations with big people. Judy Chu. Judy Chu is the first American Chinese person to be voted as part of Congress. And she is part of Congress for now over 10 years. And she's a big supporter of immigration, not only Mexicans, but even Asian immigration. So she's a big supporter of immigration, period. So, you know, I got to be talking to her. So her and I, we know, well, I don't know her like road dog type of thing, but I'm relating with these people. Like, I had no idea. I'm also offered an opportunity from NAFA to be in Capitol Hill. He goes, you want to go to Capitol Hill? They call it a day on the Hill. Like, really? What do you guys do over there? Here, come check it out. So we came over and we started to be in front of the cap. When I was there, it really, really landed to me further closer to my why. I'm still traveling with my why, but it's making more sense now because I'm in Capitol Hill. I'm in California, Sacramento, dealing with inside. Like, I'm sitting in the desk of Mr. Senator, Assemblyman, Honorable Portantino. He's offering us to sit down in his chair and take a picture and talk about issues that matter to us in NAFA. Like, how cool is that? I'm in advocacy in Washington. This day, I'm meeting Adam Schiff. I'm outside going through the halls of the capital of Washington. I'm in DC, delivering messages of where the priorities are of our NAFA federal legislations. We have a lot of quotes going along during this event. These are some of the beautiful quotes that I wanted to share with you, because I think when I started to learn what these messages were and what I was doing, I was getting closer to my why. I was reading messages like, we make a difference for our clients, and that's all that really matters to me. When I hear that there is an agent that's saying that from Arizona, her name is Tracy Scottsdale, from Scottsdale, Arizona, I'm like, okay, this goes along with what I'm doing. Then another person said, I truly enjoy being in a life insurance business and providing products that give financial security to people across the country. This is Barry from Pennsylvania. And then Bill from North Carolina says, we advocate for families to plan ahead and make the right decisions for their future. Let me pause here for a minute. Advocate for families to plan ahead. You see, that's what Bill does. But in my Hispanic community, they don't know what planning is, but they are trusting me with this information. So it's up to me to make sure that I am ethical all the time and understanding this. And that to me was a very getting close to my why. Give me a second. I think. This one right here really got me. So as a life insurance agent, I'm charged with bringing financial security to my clients. You know, when I first delivered my first policy of a death benefit to a client, that was a friend of mine's wife was a survivor. And it really, really changed my mind, that really changed my life when I was able to say, there's money here for your pain. I hope this really cures a little bit or makes things a little easier for you, versus here's some bills you got to pay up now, like $20,000, $30,000. Like, that's a big change. And when I learned that, it really changed my purpose of it. And when I learned being in Washington, can't find my, give me a second. Here it is. When I found Washington, I learned the priorities of NAIFA, is really when I felt a little bit inspired to say this.
Good morning to you all. It's a beautiful day out here in Washington. I'm about to go into my first meeting, making a difference in my life as well as my country, taking a stand on what's important to me in Washington, D.C. This is the way it should be. If you want to have something said, say it, but up here and do it the right way with the right people. Making a difference. It's a big change in my life. Thank you.
So as you hear that, I was feeling inspired that day. I was feeling that for the first time ever, I see my purpose. The purpose was to really impact as many people as I can, focusing on the people that are the least served, which is the Hispanic community. And I was willing to flag my way all the way through it, and understanding that I didn't have to know my why yet. Why? Because I want to talk about Lily. Lily is it's a program that's been around for many years through NAIFA. And this is a leadership program that's available to all its members that want to discover themselves further in leadership and understanding the purpose in your business and what you want to create with your license. And when I joined Lily program, really defined my why. Because in my why, the reason why I've been doing this is because I learned that when I live in advocacy in my life, I rebuild all circles of life, health, and money. And that is what advocacy creates for me. In NAIFA, we believe to advocate, educate, and differentiate. And that's what my mission is in life now with my company. We live a life of advocacy and serving in all circles of life and rebuilding all circles of life in life, health, and in our money. And I thank you for your time. I wish you the best. And if you're not a member of NAIFA yet, please become a member of NAIFA. I'm involved at a different level now with NAIFA. I'm a board of directors with NAIFA at the LA chapter, and I'm a yacht chairman. I'm 49 years of age, and I am so healthy. I am happy to be here in front of you. I'm very proud to be a NAIFA member and be in front of you today. I really appreciate your time and everything that you do in life. Please be an advocate to your own profession.
Thank you, Jose. That was fantastic. We've got some people on the call. If you guys have some questions, if you want to enter them in the chat or unmute yourself, if you've got some questions for Jose, please feel free to ask. Jose's got a fantastic story. His passion for NAIFA just emanates through everything that he says and does. And I think you'd agree that he's just very passionate about helping others and reaching towards that goal of financial security for all. So we'll give it a second. If you guys have some questions, let you ask anything that you'd like. Okay, I don't think we've got any questions, but that's okay. Jose, again, thank you so much. Like I said, your passion for helping individuals and reaching that financial security for all for Main Street USA is just amazing. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy every time I hear it. So again, thank you guys. Thank you for participating, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Oh, here. Oh, hang on. We did get a question. So let's how did NAIFA help your business during the pandemic?
Wow, this is an awesome question because there's a lot that happened. So NAIFA went online. So there was a lot of training that was going on. And also there was a lot of communication between what our president was communicating with our president of NAIFA, how it was communicating with the president of the United States of the CARES Act. So the CARES Act, when it came on board, that was means that's inflecting money into the economy. So that's our world. So our president was very involved with the president of the United States, and we were part of a lot of Zoom meetings that were giving updates about this. And then you learned how to connect with the SBA, because the SBA had a lot of also updates about how this upcoming. So there was a lot of activities that NAIFA was doing along, also growing and connecting with other members themselves of the technical world. Like that's a world that we were all rushed into to learning. So furthermore, I learned through there where more about the difference between sales agents and ethicals. So during the pandemic, there's a lot of insurance companies still offering training to sell during online platforms. And they give us training, sometimes offering us training, and these trainings were borderline unethical and moral. So I decided to not continue to do that. But that's when it really dawned to me, hey, that's the difference between when I am ethical, I understand that I have a choice to take the training and be brainwashed with it, or just take the training as information, be grateful for the training, but deliver it as an ethical platform. And that is what Lily has taught me into growing more during the pandemic, how to differentiate that message and understand that when we're speaking to these people, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to bring you information so you can choose a proper way of ensuring and protecting and planning for your future. So I feel NAIFA was very good at building a relationship within its own members to create new trainings into what's going to serve the new era that we were undergoing right now. But involving myself in understanding how the president, Kevin, was communicating with the president of the United States was a big understanding and efforts to continue to build my business. I hope that explained that to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and we did, because it was such a changing time for all of us that, we had town hall meetings as new information was coming out, and these new, CARES Act and the small business and how all the things that were impacting that, that was impacting our members as well as was impacting your clients. So, we kind of had it twofold, because the advisors themselves wanted to know how, what it was doing for their business, as well as how to help support their clients. So,
I see a question on the chat to follow through this. Says, thank you. The SBA information wasn't available to everyone, such as yourself. No, believe it or not, the SBA was public. It was and they wanted everybody to know about these meetings. But listen, in my community, the Hispanics, they don't even believe in finances, nothing yet, Zoom meetings or town hall meetings. That's something that they're not going to practice ever. So my community, even though if it was open to the public, they wouldn't even search for it. At least I'll speak for my community, but yes, it was open to the public.
Any
You
other
just needed to know.
questions?
Oh, by the way, the SBA representatives is the SBDC. So the webinars were under the SBDC because the SBDC are the people that, and SBDC is small business. I don't remember what DC means, but they're the.
I had to unmute myself, but I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is from a legislative perspective, you
Uh,
had a direct line where you were getting that information. And when you looked at the SBA website and really kind of reading through the legal, the wording and trying to contact someone to get clarification, it wasn't as available as
oh
you
yeah,
from a legislative perspective. But I do
yeah, you're right.
I do appreciate what you're saying in terms of the Hispanic community or the Latino community, whereas grossly underserved,
Yeah.
in terms of that. So I think that's, I know time is of the essence, so I'll let you go, but it'd be nice to see, like you said, how California, I think, is a little bit different, a little bit ahead of everybody else in the rest of the country. So, but, to kind of champion this cause is great. I guess what I'm trying to do is really kind of make that connection from, the legislative to, what would it mean based on, dealing with the companies. And you expressed it, so I appreciate it. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Hey, Moses, what state are you in?
I'm in the Virginia, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. area.
Okay, I can actually get you in contact with some people in that area. Which state exactly are you in?
Oh, I'm in Maryland.
Oh, Maryland.
I'm
Okay.
licensed in, I'm so close, but I'm licensed in all three. So
Sure. Yep. Nope. I totally understand that. So, yeah, because our headquarters is actually in Falls Church, Virginia. So, I've got some people that I can put you in contact with, kind of more on the state side, that might kind of help answer some of those questions as well.
okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But thank you, Moses, for your clarification on that. Good to hear from you, though.
Well, thank you again, Jose. Again, you love NAPA, married to NAPA, and I love that. So thank you guys. And if you want, next month's session is September 9th and September 23rd. We've got Karina Hatfield, who is our reigning Yacht Leader of the Year out of Pennsylvania. And then we also have Derek Sheets, who is out of Ohio and Columbus, Ohio, actually, to be specific. So hopefully you can join us again next month. Thank
Hey,
you.
guys. Have a good one.
You too.